Welcome back to the Kinokast. Today we are joined by one of my, I don't know if I should call him a friend, Easy Peasy. No. No, we're not friends. Easy Peasy, also known as the Odd Guy. He has a YouTube channel and he is an admin at one of the worst sites on the internet called Encyclopedia Dramatica. So today we are watching, or we just did finish up watching Cuck 2019, and it was at Oki's request. Oki saw the poster of it, he saw the trailer, and he was moved. He was immeasurably moved. And he told me, he texted me, he said, "This movie is literally me. We have to do a video on Cuck 2019. So here we are. I tried to get Monkey Jones to do it, and his answer was no. A very, very fervent no. He was never going to watch Cuck 2019. And why am I saying Cuck 2019? It's because there are other movies called Cuck. I've actually seen a couple. One of them is a short film. And I was doing my research into these Cuck movies. And but Cuck 2019 it's something. Oki, what do you have to say? Oh, actually, before Easy Peasy,
I would be really surprised if there's like a Cuck 1923, like the fucking Lumiere brothers made a movie called Cuck, and that's what you found when you were looking into this.
I don't know.
Is that true?
Something like 90% of silent films are lost. So it's possible.
For all we know, it's possible. Yeah.
It just burned up in a fire, or it was melted down to make high heels or something like that. But what if it was actually just destroyed out of shame by the studio a little bit later? And that's why we don't know.
Maybe it was destroyed like with one of the lost Groucho Marx movies. Just right next to that there was a big reel that just said Cuck, and it all went in that damn fire.
So what I actually heard was that Godard wanted to call Jules at gym Cuck, but he was.
That was Truffaut.
Oh, it was Truffaut. Yeah, my bad. But when I think about Cuckold, like I just think of I don't know, that movie. Or I guess like Menage a Trois. Yeah.
Yeah. There were kind of, that there were plenty of like cuckish movies back then, back in the 60s and 70s. It seemed to be a kind of a running theme for the boomers.
There's that movie about the French movie about the guy who gets cucked by a monkey. His wife fucks a chimpanzee.
What?
That's a real movie. That's a real movie.
Wait, I'm looking
French
this up.
movie. Yeah.
I gotta
French
look this
movie.
up. Because I have to watch this like right after.
Look it up.
I'm typing this in. French movie where guy's girlfriend, is it wife or guy's wife?
Wife.
Fucks a monkey.
You're gonna get a link on Best Gore or something.
Wait. Oh, is that Irreversible?
I don't know. I don't remember the name.
No.
French movie.
Revenge?
Wife fox chimpanzee.
I'm getting.
See if I can find it. Maybe. Yeah, I think it might be Irreversible. No, it can't be. It's too recent. That was a movie from like the 70s.
I don't know. I don't know about this movie.
I'm 100. If you could find it.
Listen, we talked about Monkey Jones. Ask him because he did talk about this movie in one of his monkey movie review things. I am 100%.
On the Monkey Box.
On the Monkey Box.
Yeah.
It is a real movie about a guy whose wife cheats on him with a chimp that lives with them.
Oh man, that's like the only plot in it too, right?
Yeah, pretty much it.
Wow.
That's very French. It's very
riveting. Wow.
Yeah. But getting back to Cuck 2019.
Yeah, let's talk about Cuck 2019. I absolutely love this movie. It is so incredibly bad. I love how it's like a character study by someone who hates the character they're doing a study on, because the main character, Ronnie, is this bizarre amalgam of internet stereotypes of weird right-wing people. And he's not one person. He is 10 different people. He is the right-wing Alex Jones conspiracy theorist. He He's fucking Elliot Rodger. He's
Yeah.
the anti-feminist YouTuber. Like, he's bits and pieces of all these different characters who are not compatible with each other.
Yeah, they're not compatible at all. And
So
it
the
doesn't make any sense because in one part he's like a boomer conservative, and another part he's like a far right like Nazbol kind of guy.
And in
you're
another
like,
part,
what
he's
the
a
hell?
libertarian. In
Yeah.
one part, in most of the movie, he's too shy to talk to people. Like, he can't talk to women, but he also constantly has these wild outbursts where he's way too confident of himself. It just starts fights with like 3 black dudes in a parking lot and gets his ass kicked. It's an amazing movie. I think what I love most about this movie is that the people who made it clearly hate the people who are that this character is based on so much that they couldn't stop themselves from putting as much examples of things they hate about them in the movie. So when you're an hour in, you're still seeing these unrelated scenes, like 60 minutes of this movie, and just even after that, it's just random examples of stereotypical things that this character is based on do. Like, the entire movie revolves around showing him being pathetic and miserable, and it goes way past the point where it serves any kind of purpose beyond, like, the vindictiveness of the person who's making the movie. Like, you've established that this character is a loser. I don't need to watch him jerk off to porn for the 7th time. I get it. I don't
Exactly.
stop.
Well,
Like,
what's
and
funny
because of this, because of this, the movie has no narrative arc because it is too busy showing examples of this dude being pathetic to actually have a plot progress in a logical way. Like, even as the plot gets going, there must have been a part where they were writing the script when they thought to themselves, okay, well, this is how the plot's supposed to go, but we haven't shown him getting beat up by black people yet, so let's just stick this here. So even after they're done establishing him, you keep seeing these completely pointless scenes that contribute to nothing, that are not part of any theme of him just being a loser, way past the point where we already understood that he's a loser, and he doesn't get crazier over time. He is just as insane at the start of the movie as he is at the end of it, except for the part where he shoots a bunch of people. So there's no progression of his character, no progression of the plot, because the entire movie is way too busy just showing us that this guy is a loser.
Yeah, and it's all just made to humiliate him and have all the characters around him essentially just laugh at him for the entire movie. And so when I watched the film, what kind of came to my mind was this is what a blue check mark wrote after an anime profile picture called them a cuck on Twitter.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
Yeah. Like, they got so angry that some random anime PFP called him a cuck that they were like, I'm gonna fucking, like, I'll show you who's the cuck, you know?
It's a,
Like,
That's why they put the line
it's an
in the
angry
movie.
YouTube it is an angry YouTube comment that devolved into a script.
yeah.
At some point, like 3 hours into writing his angry reply, the guy who made this movie was like, you know what, I'm just gonna save this. I think I've got a nice idea going here. I'm gonna develop this a bit.
Yeah. So,
I genuinely don't understand. You make a really good point. What is exactly is the point of even him being in these cuckold movies? Like, it doesn't. It feels like so out of place, other than for him to be humiliated.
yeah.
That's
the only point. That's the only
of
point.
a person. Yeah.
That's the only point. And the whole point, too, is like, oh, look, he's this right-wing commentator on, their version of YouTube. Although, what's
They use the YouTube interface.
Yeah, but what's funny about, like, how he makes his videos is he literally makes, like, Terry Davis-style videos where it's grainy as fuck. He's using, like, a shitty webcam in, like, a dark room, just, like, screaming about, like, minorities that he hates. And it's like, oh, and he becomes a hit online? Like, what? Like, in what world does that, like, there's a guy like that who's obviously just psychotic,
The Srani character is one part Sargon of Akkad and one part Eggy. He's clearly Eggy.
Yeah, they didn't even consult Eggy for this. They obviously took inspiration from his Black Pill video.
Yeah, very clearly, and partially from Elliot Rodger, also very obviously. and partially it's inspired by, I think, probably Sargon or other anti-feminist commentators. Like, no, a movie of this sort of character study, is usually supposed to be driven on some level by some sympathy towards the character. But this movie doesn't work because it is just seeping with contempt toward the stereotypical character they made. So at no point does the movie progress anywhere because they're just still busy with laughing at him.
Yeah.
And you know what's the stupidest part of this? Throughout the movie, for no apparent reason, you constantly hear these sound bites from him and from other people of right-wing talking points that you hear on the internet. Mm-hmm. So because it's another thing that they wanted to add to the movie. But again, a good version of this movie would show how his belief in these things is ruining his life. But in this movie, it just people say these things. They don't contribute anything to the plot. They never get contradicted in any way. They never, it's not show. It's a show don't tell thing. I don't want someone to corner him and give him a lecture about why his beliefs are wrong. But I would like the things that he says and that other people say online in the movie to somehow be shown to be wrong throughout the movie, so that I know that the point of the movie is that these things are wrong. But they are completely separate from the actual plot. You just hear these sound bites that make the people who made this movie angry show up in the movie, and then with no relation to any of it, he goes and shoots up a grocery store.
Yeah. And what's funny too is that actually going into it, when I first watched the film, I thought that the whole like cuck porn stuff that he does was going to be this thing out of humiliation, or it was like a revenge kind of way for them, because they knew about his politics or whatever. And I thought that they were going to trap him in doing this, and it was going to be like this exploitation sort of thing. But no, in the movie, he's like, they just pay him at the end of the day, and the people that do the cuck porn don't really have anything against him, and it's just like, oh yeah, it's just his extra job that he does. And I thought that there is going to be something to it, but there's not. The only thing to it is that it's like this ticking time bomb that ends up ruining his career because because I guess his audience likes to watch cuck porn because they saw his videos.
They found it.
Gets exposed.
There's something deeply ironic about this, because I was thinking about it, and while this movie is trying to portray a fucking mix of conservative stereotypes as being bad, it's trying to portray them poorly. If you really think about it, the movie is accidentally saying the exact opposite of that. Because if you really pay attention, at the beginning of the movie, it shows that he couldn't get into the army because of a psych evaluation. Yeah. And I looked at the Wikipedia page, and in the synopsis of the movie, it says that he may be mentally disabled. And
well, that's what I was.
Yeah. And then it all made sense because maybe he's playing it as autistic. Maybe they didn't intend for him to do it, but that's how he comes off as. So he's an autistic guy that couldn't get into the army, and then he gets into cuck porn, and then he shoots up a store because of his beliefs about his father. So basically, the message of the movie is that eventually what ruins his life is not right-wing beliefs. What ruins his life is doing porn.
Sex work.
Sex work, and not having a father in the home. That's a very conservative message. Accidentally.
I didn't even think about that.
And there's another level to this, because like I said, he might be mentally disabled. I don't know if this is intentional, which is true to reality, because a lot of the incel types that this movie is portraying are actually really just autistic. Like, a lot of them have Asperger's, they have mental problems. And another theme, accidentally, that shows up throughout the movie is that people criticize him, or that his life is bad because he didn't go to college. Now, you have to ask yourself, why didn't he go to college? Well, he lives in a poor neighborhood. He lives in a fucking slum. And people constantly throughout the movie berate him for not achieving anything in his life because he didn't go to college. So, again, the message of the movie is that we should feel contempt towards mentally ill people who are too poor and too mentally disabled to go to college. That doesn't seem like that. He's clearly autistic. He's too poor to go to school, and yet throughout the movie, people are like, you wouldn't be such a loser if you went to college, you retard.
Oh, all right. Let's get back into it. And easy peasy. Where did you like? What was the topic?
Well, let me catch the audience up. In the middle of the fucking podcast, Kino had to go do something, and now he's back. But while you were gone, me and Oki had an important conversation. We need to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why the fuck is it that in your videos you talk like this? Welcome everybody. This is what the fuck is that shit? It's so fucking annoying. No one likes listening to that. Why are you talking like that?
I talk like that in my videos because I have like I don't know, like the way that I talk normally.
The way that you talk
changes.
Normally is a lot better than whatever the fuck it is that you're doing in the video.
It changes, but the thing is that like it changes all throughout the day. And
are you a fucking Furby? What the fuck does that mean?
No, like okay, so
are
like
you going through puberty?
No. So anyway, so like I usually record like at nighttime, but
and at nighttime you suddenly have a woman's voice, but during the day you get the voice of Batman, and then in the afternoon you sound kind of like I forgot the name.
It's true though.
Oh, okay.
True. No, it's just it's more of
in
a
the middle of the day you sound like Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, exactly.
And then from about 9 to 9:01 you sound like Sandra Bullock. But that's just for that 1 minute. You can't record during that 1 minute. The rest of the day, you sound fine, though.
Okay, yeah, hold on, because I want to hear what... All right, so why do you sound like that?
No, it's because with my normal voice, I can't... I just can't, like, enunciate... Like, I can't enunciate things how I want to.
You mean like you just enunciated the word enunciate?
No, but I can't put the right emphasis on certain words, like... in sentences when I'm really trying to maybe express a point. My normal voice is very kind of lackadaisical and just sort of like, I don't know, like it just has I know that I kind of sound a lot of times like I really don't care. I mean, it's my California accent, and Northern California
just
accent.
pick something else. Just pick something else for your videos.
I can't control my normal voice. Like I can control my YouTuber voice. It's a
okay.
Yeah, and what it also does is, my voice timbre does change throughout the day. So, like, we're recording this about midday, and my voice is a little bit more hoarse than it's going to be later on.
Imagine if in the middle of this fucking podcast, Kino's talking, he's suddenly like, okay, so what I have to say about the movie Cuck is, it's kind of a shitty movie. What does that mean?
No, yeah. I don't know. It's just an easier to control voice, and it makes
okay. So I'm changing the topic. I remembered something while we were talking. Before the podcast started, I was watching the Kino Corner the Kinokast, because I wanted to understand what the fuck I'm getting into. And you mentioned something that I need to comment on. Sorry.
Yep.
You said that when your fucking clinic, your mom's clinic or your dad's clinic, whatever, got tornadoed, then a bunch of people you don't know just showed up and started like retweeting your donation link.
Yeah.
That was me. I asked them to do that because I was too cheap to actually give you any of my own money. and I went through people who I'm kind of friendly with on Twitter, and I told them, listen, could you retweet this for my boy? His fucking clinic got tornadoed. And one funny story about that, my man narrator, my friend from Twitter, I go to him and I tell him, listen, my boy Kino here, he got tornadoed. Could you do me a favor and retweet this charity link that he's put up? And Neri's like, Easy, are you fucking with me right now? I'm like, what do you mean? Why am I fucking with you? And he's like, my house got tornadoed. Yeah, I picked the wrong fucking guy. I'm like, hey, could you donate to my cancer charity? Nah, nigga, I got AIDS.
Man, I don't know what it was about that particular weekend. Like, it was a terrible storm, and yeah, the tornado completely just demolished the whole place. But yeah, thank you for doing that. It actually helped a lot. And then what happened last week is that the local Mennonites put together a bake sale and raised about $2,000 from selling their.
Nice. What? I don't know what a Mennonite is.
Oh man,
it's like an Amish person.
It sounds like a fucking group of villains from a fucking comic book. Like they live underground. They're gonna try to take over the earth. What? They're Amish? They're Amish?
Yeah, it's like...
Wait, if they're Amish, why did they need to have a bake sale? Couldn't they just build you a new clinic? They could build a barn in like a day. Just fucking build a clinic, you bitches.
Well, they're not the Amish. There's the Anabaptists, and the Mennonites are sort of like Amish, but more modern, like not quite,
So they're like diet Amish.
Yeah, they're like diet Amish. Yeah, exactly.
There are Mennonites, but are there womanites?
No.
No, okay. So they reproduce asexually.
Yeah,
there are no womanites. I see. Do they build themselves?
But anyways,
yeah.
Let's get back to the
movie
Cuck,
of the year.
If we don't get back to it, I'm gonna start doing my YouTube voice just to piss off Easy Peasy.
Okay. So we were talking about Cuck. Oh, listen. Here's one more thing I wanted to. There's a very interesting character in Cuck. His name is Chance Daleman. It's the YouTube guy with the big mustache.
Yeah,
with the
it's obviously supposed to be Gavin McInnes.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, are you Cuck?
Yeah, I don't
think
think
you don't think he's supposed to be gay.
No, let me tell you who he reminds me of. Think of Nick Fuentes. Think of his age, his looks, his mannerisms, and then think of a fucking Dick Masterson and his looks and age and mannerisms, and then just in the middle of all those things is this fucking character. He is exactly one half Nick Fuentes, Dick Masterson. Absolutely bizarre character. Just fucking love him. I think the only good movie.
Why Dick?
Moment
just like his looks.
His looks, the way he talks, and he's exactly in the age between them. Like Nick Fuentes is a little younger than him, and Dax is a little older than him. Just exactly in the middle. He's like both of them combined. The only good moment in the entire movie is when he breaks into a speech at the restaurant and he starts explaining to him about the white race, and then at the end of it, there's like this awkward silence. He's like, "I'm eyeing these chili fries right here," and that is the only good moment in the entire movie. That's the only well-written part of it.
Oh, you didn't like the part where he's beating the ground in his backyard with a baseball bat?
Oh yeah, what the hell was that? Why did he do that?
No,
what does that mean?
I didn't get that at all. I guess he's angry. He's an angry person.
There's just 3 minutes of him beating the ground with a baseball bat, and there's something wrapped in an American flag lying on the ground next to him, and we don't know what it is, why it's there. He's just slamming the fucking ground. I was talking about this after you left, and this movie is so confusing because the entire movie is just minute-long segments that are not connected to each other. Just he's shooting at a rat tied to a string. He's beating the ground with a fucking bat. Then he's on the street walking around. Then he's just completely disjointed little moments. Very weird.
Even the ending climax is like that. Because he goes to the porn studio house, and then best line in the film, who's the cuck now? Before he shoots the guy, and then it's like 5 minutes of him just kind of nonchalantly walking around L.A. with a gun, like shooting, like it's like shooting people, just like nothing's
it's like,
really
how
like it's a normal night.
There?
It really did feel like they tried to model it after Taxi Driver, but miserably failed. Like it kind of, like all the moments are there. So like, you follow this guy and he's aimless in life and he's a loser and he has kind of an extreme ideology that's he's not even necessarily an ideologue, like similar to Travis Bickle, where he's just kind of lost and just like taking in a whole bunch of different ideas. He gets even the date scene. When he's
similar.
The date gone wrong.
The date gone wrong, and then it ends after he gets involved with a sex worker.
Yeah.
Similar to like the Jodie Foster character, and then it ends with a massacre. But it's just doesn't work obviously nearly as well.
It's like if somebody on the short bus tried to write Taxi Driver.
It's just. I'd like to add to Oki's point here. what's weird about it is not only that it's a lot like Taxi Driver, it is incomprehensibly a lot like Joker 2019, even though it couldn't possibly... The movies came out at the same time. There's no way that one was influenced by the other. And yet, so many of the things are the same. It is the same kind of character. They both have a scene where he bathes his mother, although in Cuck it's a lot creepier, and there's no point to it. Like, I don't know why they had that scene there. It doesn't go anywhere. It never...
Plus, there's like full nudity in that scene.
Yeah, we're looking at an old woman in a bath, and it is never brought up again. There's no reason why we see it. He kills his mother just like the Joker. He has the scene where he's with the gun in front of the mirror, like, "Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?" Which the Joker had, which they got from Taxi Driver, of course. Like, it's exactly like the Joker, even though the movies were made at the same time.
I really liked your point earlier. Oh yeah. I mean, like you said, I mean, both of them are trying to, like, the Joker took a lot from Taxi Driver, and then I'm sure this did as well. And then it's just like so simple to just be like,
it's so specific. Why is the mom in the bathtub?
Because that's so like a simple. That's a simple. Okay, yeah, I know, but that's like a simple way to be like, oh, look at this. Like, he's a loser character who is too close to his mother, and there's like some sort of edible like mother complex thing. Like, it's like a simple like.
Yeah, the mother thing is one of a lot of plot lines that don't go anywhere. Like, for example, there's this moment at the start of the film where it's very clear that the mom is horny for his parole officer. And that never goes anywhere. That never contributes to the movie. Like, that should have been left on the cutting room floor. This movie is 2 hours long. It does not need to be 2 hours long.
No. But here's the thing, though, right? Yeah. I know why they put in that she's horny for the parole officer. It's because
black?
It's because that's the movie's way of explaining his racism. That he doesn't like black people because his mom wants to fuck a black parole officer.
That might be it, huh? I missed.
Yeah. So, the movie is very deep. It's very layered. There's a lot of themes and everything that are really working with each other. And yeah, so the entire reason why he hates black people, and of course why he hates Arabs and just about anybody who's not white, is because his mom wants to have sex with a cop.
See, I'm actually, me and ECPC actually talked about this briefly, but I'm going to be a bit of a contrarian here and say, like, I enjoyed the lead up, like the first act, a lot more than the rest of the movie. As soon as, like, he gets involved with the cuckold porn, I kind of checked out because there was, it really...
Yeah, me and
it did feel like it was kind of... It did kind of feel like it was
all over the place.
It kind of felt. It kind of felt like it was
disagreement. And Kino, you can sell this for us, because Oki liked the first part of the movie more than the second, and I like the second part of the movie more than the first. Like, for me, the first part of the movie is just a lot of disjointed scenes that don't go anywhere and don't do anything. But Oki likes it because he likes more artistic films. And then when the plot starts, he tunes out. But for me, it's the other way around. I was bored for the first hour, and then the Marvel movie type of this is the I want to cuck MCU.
Look. Honestly, like, so I guess I was more forgiving and like being like, okay, let's see what this is building up to. Like, it's setting up this character. I get that. Like, I don't know. I enjoyed that it was setting up this deeply disturbed character for the first little bit, you kind of get to know a lot of details about his life that you wouldn't get in, like, if they set the plot up immediately. So, I guess I'm more forgiving when it comes to that. Like, yeah, give or take 30 minutes, and then the plot can kick in.
But it was an hour.
But as soon as was it an hour? Okay,
it was
maybe.
I was counting.
See, I didn't even notice that because I was kind of even though the acting was like a little bit off. Although, I thought the acting for the main character, I thought the main
character did a good job. Yeah.
Because the first scene I saw with him, I thought, oh, this guy is he mentally ill, or like kind of slow, which I think you mentioned earlier, that they said that he was actually supposed to be that way. But yeah, I kind of felt like, okay, it's kind of off, but like this character's supposed to be kind of slow. Anyway, so. I was kind of into it, actually, for what you're saying was the first hour of the movie. And then the porn
kicks in and you tune out.
the porn stuff starts happening, and it was like, what the fuck is the purpose of any of this?
Okay, so I'm gonna side with both of you on this. I'm gonna be like
fucking
Boogie 2098,
bitch.
Yeah, yeah. Call me Boogie because I'm sitting on the fence. No, okay. So as far as like the move, like I did think that the first half of the movie, the buildup was technically better than the second half, but the second half was so unbelievably stupid that I loved it. Like I was like, okay, they're actually trying in the first 30, 40 minutes, even though there's a lot of it, like what Easy Peasy was talking about, like how his ideologies are all over the place and are clashing and don't really make any sense. And it's obvious that the writers didn't really do any kind of research.
Like he's a libertarian too. That's weird. He has a Gadsden flag sticker on his computer for some reason.
Yeah.
But I think it's fine like that because he's such a lost person, and then he's also kind of slow. It's kind of like, Travis Bickle randomly
you
decides
think it's deliberate.
Yeah, well,
I don't think
it's deliberate. No. No.
I think it's accidentally
but
done.
I think maybe it's. I'm not thinking about it from the perspective of the filmmaker or the writer and why they decided to do it. But I do think it could make sense that someone in that position, like
you think
similar
that if
to
someone better had made this movie, he might have done this. He might have done it like this intentionally. Whereas
Scorsese did that with Travis Bickle. So Travis Bickle randomly decides he's going to support Palantine, right? That's just like something he decides on a whim, and like he switches, his motivations and his ideology.
But it makes sense within the context of what he's trying to get at in the film. In Taxi Driver, in Cuck, he switches all these things just kind of willy nilly, and it doesn't really have any real bearing
cohesion
on his. Yeah, it doesn't have any cohesion. There's no kind of basis for him doing this. If there was a reason for him switching these ideologies all the time, within the film, I could buy it, but it just kind of comes across like the person who wrote this doesn't really know what they're talking about and doesn't really understand the nuances of all these different, competing ideologies.
While you were gone,
do you think
this movie feels like a Twitter checkmark, basically taking all of the people he's angry at, that he doesn't understand there's a difference between their beliefs, and just crushing them into one character?
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly how it feels like. And something that kind of pissed me off in how they were building up his character near the beginning, I just remembered this just now, is how they essentially give you what the character is by having all these shots of his bumper stickers. Like, they have several shots of the bumper stickers, and I'm like, it's like, again, it's just the stereotypes. And actually, I think that that's a really good metaphor, or just a really good image for this movie, because he is literally just an amalgamation of a bunch of bumper stickers. It's not any deeper than that. Yeah. Like,
he's a collection of bumper stickers, stereotypical YouTube channels, idioms that people on the right like to say. The fact that his mother's religious really has no bearing on the plot either. It's just another stereotype of a right-wing person that the creator of the movie didn't like, and he didn't have a way of cramming yet another personality trait into this one character, so he made his mother religious instead.
Oh, his father went to war. Therefore, he's conservative because the military, that's conservative. Oh, also, the guy he goes to the garage, and the guy is like, "Guess what? All the Indians are taking our jobs," and that's he's a product of his environment.
Another thing I just remembered, and another similarity with Joker. One of the complaints that people had about Joker 2019 is that the mental illness part is inconsistent. Like, he has a delusion for only one moment in the film. Like, once he has audio-visual hallucinations, and at no other point in the film does he have them. It just kind of comes out of nowhere, and it's out of place, but it's also predictable. That's a complaint a lot of people had. Maybe I agree with it a little bit. And the same thing happens in Cuck, because early in the movie, he has a very brief, like, psychotic episode where he starts hallucinating himself becoming a YouTube celebrity, and it just disappears. It happens once for a few seconds, and it's never mentioned again.
Strange scene.
Yeah. And then just before the movie ends, it happens again where he sees his father commit suicide. Like, it's a memory from when he was a baby. Like, it happens only twice. It never happens throughout the movie. You never get the sense that he has audio-visual hallucinations. It literally happens 2 times for no reason.
For no reason, except for some sort of, I don't
attempt
know,
at symbolism, maybe.
Or trying to trick the audience, because it's like... And that's how I felt about him, like, fantasizing or having the delusion that his YouTube, really popped off.
I kind of liked that, actually.
I mean, yeah, it was definitely, like, just trying to trick with that, I don't know if I necessarily see that as a delusion, but it could have just been, like, a fantasy, like,
maybe.
it's just...
Maybe.
Yeah, and it's definitely there, and I remember watching it, and because I was live tweeting while I was watching Cuck, my reactions. And so I remember going like, oh, no way is like this video that he recorded on a shitty webcam getting this many views. And then
like in a second too.
Yeah, and like overnight. And then and it's like 30 seconds later you see that, oh, okay, yeah, that was a fantasy.
I kind of like the thought behind doing like a scene like that, but I don't know why it needed to be edited like a dubstep video. Like it was weird.
You know what? Listen,
you mentioned a lot of the
dubstep.
editing was kind of weird.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I want to get to now. This is a bit nitpicking, but I want to talk about like the little things. I want to talk about the sound editing. I want to talk about the camera work. I want to talk about the fucking color choices here. Let me start for a moment with the sound. The sound work on this movie is unbelievably obnoxious. Throughout the film, I don't know if you noticed, but there is constant droning, ominous music, and it just starts up and stops, and starts up and stops. Like, these people bought... They paid to license, like, 5 clips of ominous music, and it just keeps playing for 20 seconds, stopping, playing for 20 seconds, stopping. You can't do anything throughout the movie quietly without there being ominous music in the background, which is often ill-fitting. Sometimes it's literally dubstep. I don't know why they did this. Like, this movie could have been a lot better if they didn't do it. Like, if they knew how to build a little bit of ambiance, if instead of playing annoying music in the background all the time, they just turn it off and have a little bit of ambient noise, just create a little tension by letting the movie have actual quiet moments. Don't tell me how to feel. Don't play music to let me know it's thrilling, because it's not.
Well, that was weird, because like that was a thought that I had when I was watching, and like it was like kind of like I think I was like 30 minutes in, where it was like kind of seems like kind of naturalistic, and I'm gonna be in for like a 2-hour movie, where it's like kind of slow paced deliberately, but then all of a sudden everything changes, I guess, like at the hour mark, and then
there's huge tonal shifts.
It becomes super contrived and extremely stupid.
Well,
I think,
it's because you have to think about it like this, right? So they have a character that's this sort of schizoid type, autistic, maybe, like whatever the diagnosis is. It's never really like that clear.
Yeah, it just says he failed the psych evaluation.
Yeah, exactly. So you started off, he's living with his mom, and he's just kind of doing a shitty job and making these like, shitty webcam YouTube videos. And it's, and you have to think, like, with a story about a guy like this, there's thousands or millions of guys like him, and their stories really don't go anywhere. You know what I mean? They just kind of stay there, and it's kind of just a boring, sad life for the most part. And that's what it would be if it was realistic in any way, shape, or form. But they have to add in these contrivances. And And if they actually didn't even have the cuck porn in it, it would have probably...
It would have been way better, I think.
It would have worked a lot better. Like, the cuck porn stuff just felt really just, like...
Needless.
Yeah, it could have been just a regular character study, but halfway through it, they're like, this is boring. We should make this into a thriller.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
like a weird psychosexual thriller. Let's introduce elements where, he wants to fuck his mom as well.
Yeah.
And then...
No, actually, his mom wants to fuck him, but he doesn't want to fuck him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, he was looking up, like, MILF porn. Is that...
Oh, yeah, that's true. He did do that.
Is that indicative that, like, someone... Is that, kind of an eatable...
Right. Yeah, they're trying to... Okay,
also, the prostitute is a lot older than him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
by the way, I don't know if
older.
this is deliberate, because I was going to mention the lighting. Like, throughout most of the movie, the lighting is really flat, but whenever there's close-ups, there's very harsh lighting, and you can really see the wrinkles in everyone's faces. And I'm not sure if this was done deliberately to show how worn out the people are, and to show how the woman from the porn film is just this old, dried-up whore that's still doing these movies in like, her 40s. Or if the people who were doing the lighting just did a shit job and didn't realize. Because I think Ronnie is supposed to be somewhere in his mid-20s, maybe. Yeah, I think he's supposed
to be 30, maybe?
Is he 30? Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't know how old he was. It was kind of, it's like unspecified. Like, mid-20s to mid-30s seemed to be.
His face looked like. Yeah. Oh no, I was gonna say his face looked like Kyle Kalinske and his body looked like Christian Weston Chandler.
Really huge.
Yeah, you know that one picture of
why is his nipples like this? Oh my god, his nipples were so
Chris
distracting.
yeah.
His
nipples were.
Do you know that one picture of Chris Chan where he's in his room and he's like, and he's shirtless, and he's kind of like, almost like kind of pseudo flexing. It's like the body type.
His nipples are so much worse than. This guy's nipples are very large,
he's got the
very
puffy.
hairy, very dark.
Yeah.
Like these big salami slices.
Yeah.
They should have just had him wear a shirt in the movie. Like, I get it, you want to show his... they should have made his nipples a plot point. Like, don't ignore it.
I think they were a plot point, basically. Yeah. I mean, they kept returning to it.
There's a, have you seen those, like, so when films are screened,
God milk?
When there's like test screenings for films, I know that some test screeners have like this technology that they basically track where eye movements go, and then they can point, in each frame like where every single eye movement goes to show the filmmakers and to show people who are interested, right? Like what part of the image attracted the most number of eyes. Yeah. I'm pretty sure if you were to do that with Cuck, whenever his nipples come on screen, everyone is looking at them. No one's looking at anything else.
I'm not looking at them. They're looking at me. They follow you around the room like the fucking Mona Lisa.
And you know what? I don't actually have like an issue with like showing like someone's body that's supposed to be like repulsive deliberately. But like it felt like it just didn't, like there was nothing to it.
It was just adding to this. It was just adding to this movie's like thing. It's like the only reason this movie exists is to take this guy, this kind of like this straw man, right?
No, but hold on.
And just make fun of him and torture him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait a minute, no, hold on. Is this a prosthetic? Do you think that the nipples are fake, or are we laughing at the actual actor? I don't think this is a deliberate thing. I think this actor's nipples are just gross, and they just...
Yeah. No, I mean, that's why he was deliberately... He was deliberately casted to...
You think they cast him for his nipples?
Yeah,
to his body type and how he looks, and
No, I think that... Definitely. So, when you audition, right, you send headshots.
They were auditioning him, it's like, take your shirt off, and they're like, that's the guy. Look at those nipples, that's the guy.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, he probably had to send nipple shots to the production.
Yeah, they probably had the script written already, and...
Yeah, and the script was probably... In the script, his name probably wasn't even Ronnie. In the original script, it was probably Big Nipple Man.
Exactly.
Nipples. That's just his name. What about the scene? I want to talk about the scene where the guy comes on his face.
That what I was gonna say. That is really the true
climax,
and that's the true climax of the movie. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he literally becomes like a serial killer because a guy comes on his face.
And then he gets exposed for it. Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and one of the questions is, he gets exposed for it, but that means that he shares the same audience.
Yeah. It's very strange.
The people watching his vlogs are also watching cuck porn.
I think that the screenwriter director is part of the audience watching both for research, right? For research.
Yeah, for research. Yeah, I was just browsing the hub for research, but
it's so bizarre. Can we just get back to why include the cuck stuff? Why include the cuck porn? There's no. It's so pointless. Other than to have to humiliate him and to have people that he targets when he becomes enraged. Otherwise, what? Yeah.
He could have easily been exposed for something else that would have made sense. That would have brought his YouTube channel down.
They could have just kept him he could have been in that job, and then eventually he loses a job or something, or maybe he has a friend, or maybe he finds a girlfriend, and then that ruins something, his relationship with those people, because they find out he's being extremely reactionary online. But instead it's oh no, he gets jizzed on the face and the people make fun of him online, so he kills people.
Yeah, the cuck plotline is very artificial. It is extremely artificial because they wanted to make it more like a traditional plotline, and they took this is very formulaic, but it's not necessary because this doesn't have to be a formulaic movie. So they have this romance subplot that is supposed to show him falling in love with this woman and then realizing that it's not going to go anywhere and wanting to take her by force.
Doesn't he have sex with her?
Yeah.
She has sex with him, and then it's not it's.
She does it to manipulate him.
She does it to manipulate him, and then he comes and tries to force her to fuck him at gunpoint.
Oh yeah.
He tries to. So first he says because you released my face online and all these things, and you lied to me. As an apology, you need to have sex with me. Yeah. And then he gets beat up by the neo-Nazi guy. And every white guy in this movie, by the way, is neo-Nazi.
Yeah.
There's literally no white person in this movie who's
not a single one.
Who isn't extremely right wing or literally has an 88 tattooed on their fucking shoulder.
Yeah, that guy had a swastika tattooed on him.
Yeah, well, he had 88. Did he have a swastika? I don't know.
He had some sort of symbol that I don't know the name of. But yeah,
was it the Black Sun?
No, it's not the Black Sun. It's a bunch of
look at
triangles.
Kino's way into it.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Kino, are you sure? What are you hiding?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Nothing. Okay, nothing. Sure.
Okay. You don't do cuck porn? You're not a neo-Nazi?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not a neo-Nazi, and I don't do cuck porn. Look, if I was a neo-Nazi, I would only bring Easy Peasy on here to call him slurs.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
As we all know, he's what we call a Jew.
I deny the charge. That's actually just part of my internet persona.
You live in Israel.
No, I live in New Jersey.
He doesn't have to be Jewish to live in Israel.
No, but he's Israeli. He's not he's the one actually bombing everyone in Palestine. Well, I know that it's
not personally.
Oh yeah, okay. Personally.
I can't be everywhere at once. I can only bomb one at a time.
Oh, okay.
We are literally talking to the Iron Dome right now.
Yeah,
How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you stop all the rockets? How do you do that? Wow.
Have you ever played Angry Birds?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
kind of like that.
Yeah, it's kind of we have a big slingshot and we pull it back and just kind of throw it at the missile. Yeah, that's how that works.
Man. Oh man.
It's not as high tech as they told you. It's all based on Angry Birds.
All right.
I believe you.
Well, yeah, and but anyways, I was just thinking about it. I'm the only white guy on this podcast, so by cuck standards, yeah, I would be the neo-Nazi, wouldn't I?
Easy peasy. You're not. You're white, right? Like, I mean, you pretty much describe yourself as white, do you?
No, I describe myself as Jewish. I think we're a separate group.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
consider.
no,
Really?
he's a lot more tan than I am.
I am absolutely not more tan than you are. I
Dude,
am not.
my
I am not
genetics
tan
are
at
Irish. No, okay.
all. My genetics
I'm
are
pale.
Russian.
Peter?
Sorry?
My name? Yeah, Peter's a very Russian name.
No,
Actually-
I'm Russian.
I consider Russian
Oh,
people
you're Russian too,
white.
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, no. Is
Oh,
he-
are you a Russian Jew?
yeah.
Oh, okay, just like Slush.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
he's a Russian Jew too. Yeah, you guys all got kicked out of Russia like 100 years ago or something.
You have a very firm grasp on history, Kino. Yeah, that's what happened.
Is it because everything you've done throughout history has led up to Cuck 2019?
Yeah, that's
That
part
why
of the
you're kicked out of-
conspiracy.
That's
Oh.
part of the conspiracy, yeah. Is
Yep.
that I everything that I've done in my whole life was actually leading up to my viewing of Cuck 2019, and I realized when I watched it, I realized that was the climax of my life. Much like how him getting cummed on his face, coomed on his face was the climax of his. Watching Cuck was the climax of mine, which I guess makes me more of a cuck because all I was doing was sitting on my fat ass, on the sofa watching the movie on my TV, and he was actually out there doing things like
Oh my God.
making cuck porn and
please
calling
don't-
black people the N-word.
Please don't shoot up a grocery store, Kino. I
Don't
don't
worry.
need it. I don't need to be associated with a mass shooter a third time.
Yeah, you're on Encyclopedia Dramatica. You really have no room to talk.
Okay, listen.
Wait, where are the first two times?
Let's see. The first one was a woman whose name I can't pronounce, but she tried to shoot up a mall with her two friends on Valentine's Day in, I think, 2012. But they bragged about it on 4chan and got arrested. She's the edgiest of edgelords. And the second one was William Atcherson, the kid who shot up a school, I think, in El Paso, and his rampage was stopped by an old woman blocking a door with a couch.
Oh, man.
Didn't he
That's-
not actually hurt anybody though?
No, he shot two people.
He did.
Yeah, and then himself.
Wait, by associate with them so you knew them or you wrote about them?
Yeah, both of them were on two different sites that I helped run. One was on Encyclopedia Dramatica, and one of them was on the Bad Webcomic Wiki.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
There you go.
and now with my third one is going to be Kino.
That is
Yeah.
100% going to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not FBI. They are joking. NSA, FBI. I'm a very peaceful man. I'm actually
he's a
a
practicing Muslim.
pacifist.
People are gonna start making fun of his voice after this, and it's just like it's gonna build up into a crescendo of violence and
Yeah.
manslaughter.
Inshallah,
Slaughter.
brother.
Well,
Inshallah.
yeah, I'm not the one going into various Discord groups like Easy Peasy here and saying Inshallah. That's him.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah, see, I can't even say it right. That's how divorced I am from that
Oh, don't
entire
worry,
concept.
don't worry, brother. We'll teach you how to say it right. Alhamdulillah.
There you go. He's got the.
I love those memes. It was like, we will boil him soon.
Oh, yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
I don't even know where that started from, but I just, just one day it was just all over my timeline. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. Oh, the last time I did something with Easy Peasy, I was thinking about this the other day, I was thinking about this today, because I still get, so Easy Peasy and I, we did a stream several months ago making fun of Ben Shapiro's movie Run, Hide, Fight, right?
Yeah.
And to watch it, I had to sign up to thedailywire.com, and I had to pay like $15 a month, and they only have one movie on there.
Yeah.
And
so you're paying them $15 a month for that one?
No. So they didn't actually. So what's funny is I didn't follow this up in the live stream, but they didn't have a way for me to cancel my account. Like, you can make an account, but you can't cancel it.
Holy shit.
And so I had to call them up and basically force them to cancel my account. And they asked me, like, why do I want to cancel my account? I'm like, I don't want to give money to Ben Shapiro. I just want to watch the movie.
I mean, you have every right to do this, because retroactively, he's, in a very extremely Jewish way, tried to steal money from you. Like you did nothing wrong until he did not allow you to opt out of the account, at which point all your bad feelings towards him were justified retroactively.
and so, but what kind of irks me to this day, and I need to unsubscribe from it, is that I get emails that, you know how these, like, boomer political commentators, they'll send out emails and they'll use, like, their name. So it won't come across as, like, the Daily Wire is emailing you or this company is emailing you. Yeah. It'll say, Ben Shapiro sent you an email. And, I get all these emails.
And you keep opening it. You keep opening it and hoping it's his sister's milkers, but it never is. It is a constant disappointment.
I'm like, I go, oh, today's the day. Today's the day. Abby Shapiro OnlyFans. She's gonna be using Ben.
Didn't she get her, like, breast reduction?
No. So that was a false alarm. That was a false alarm.
God.
I know, for real. She had some kind of. She had some kind of tumor in there that she had to.
Oh, thank God! It was only a tumor.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I lost connection.
Disconnected?
I was so confused.
No, we were just laughing too high. I think
we were all thinking,
blew out the mic.
Seamlessly thinking about Abby Shapiro's breasts, and
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
The Holocaust that would happen if she got the breast reduction.
But thankfully, it was only a tumor. Thank God.
No, but I wanted to say that ever since the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which I'm just going to say this for anybody listening, I don't know shit about, so, like, don't come to me for any opinions. I review movies. I know everyone's wanting to give their 2 cents on this, and I'm just like, I don't know anything about it. Don't ask me. But I've been getting nonstop emails from Ben Shapiro, which is, from some intern probably that's working for him, saying how, like, yeah, if you don't support Israel, you're an anti-Semite. That's basically every single email I send.
Which is kind of bullshit, right? Like, I mean,
which is totally bullshit.
Yeah, you can you can support Israel and still be an anti-Semite. You can, it's a free country.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
I do it all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, Easy Peasy here is the most self-hating Jew I think I know. Other than, well, if I was to ever meet,
he's not actually Jewish. I thought.
Yeah, I'm from New Jersey. I told you.
Oh yeah, he's from New Jersey.
He sounded like you just sounded for a second there like you're actually from New Jersey. Yeah, I'm from New Jersey.
He's from New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm from Hoboken. All right, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I said he would be the most. If I ever meet Woody Allen, I think that Woody Allen would take the cake as the most self-hating Jew. But right now, it's Easy Peasy who I know.
Well, we were just having this conversation earlier, right? Easy Peasy, where, like, my whole thing about the N-word is like, don't want to.
When Kino wasn't here, we were repeatedly saying the N-word back at each other.
And that's not without me here?
Yeah, without you. Sorry, I know you love saying the N-word, but listen, I'd like to point something out. I am not a racist, okay? I am not racist. I have never said the N-word, and I am, in fact, so not racist that I have never said any word that has the letter N in it, okay? Never. I don't say any N-words at all. I have never used the letter N. By the way, the N-word is... don't know which one I'm talking about.
Oh, you fucking piece of garbage!
All right, okay.
Look, there are a lot of N-words. I wanted to make sure you knew which one I'm talking about.
I'm remembering this. This is at 45 minutes in.
Man.
Look, I was worried you might not know which N-word I'm talking about. It's I wanted to make sure we're all on the same page.
See, easy peasy. I almost liked you there for a second.
Don't worry. A lot of people make that mistake.
And then you were extremely aggressive towards me, and I feel like I am stunned. I'm honestly, I am stunned.
I'm just gonna cut out when you actually said the word so that people will understand it, but they won't try to.
Yeah, bleep it.
No, it's important you leave it there because they might not know which word we're talking about. It's very important that everyone. Are you sure? I'm worried they might not understand.
But I was trying to say earlier, right?
I always wanted to do this bit. I always wanted to do this bit.
When me and Easy Peasy were talking earlier, we had this conversation, but where he was like, "Yeah, there's people, and they say, in replies they might be like, oh, you." To me online, and he's like, "Yeah."
Now you're gonna have to bleep that too.
Oh yes, that is true. You should bleep that.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, yeah, well, I'm okay with that, whatever." But for me personally, I'm not okay like with fostering like where like I have an audience or have people who think it's okay to just say like blurt out the N-word in front of me or call me my N-word or something like that. It's just not something that I'm not into. I'm not trying to put that out there. So definitely not. I'm definitely not. Power to the people.
Yes.
Black Lives Matter. I'm here for the tribe.
I'm gonna give him $1. I'm gonna apologize by donating $1 to Black Lives Matter.
What?
You think? Can I buy an N-word pass from Black Lives Matter? Like, I think they would make a lot more money in donations if they started that kind of racket.
I do think that there's lots of issues with the organization, like Black Lives Matter. Definitely.
No, but did you hear about that one kid? He was in America. Like, he was a middle school kid. He made a ton of money selling N-word passes at a school.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, gets power to him. It's like
there's an even better story.
Me personally, like, I don't really use the word.
Listen, the biggest.
I wouldn't use it.
The biggest Black Lives Matter.
Now, here's the question: would you? Oh, sorry, go on.
Hold on, let me just say this: the biggest Black Lives Matter group in all of the world, the biggest Facebook page for Black Lives Matter in all of the world, that got like a ton of donations, turned out to be run by some Australian white guy who stole all that money.
Yeah. That's so like that happens so often with a lot of these like online charities.
Yeah, I definitely, my only issue is like is kind of like with a lot of like this, like, I think that Black Lives Matter, they kind of simplify a lot of the issues, and then they'll put out things and they say that they did research and it's this is pointing towards a certain thing, but it's not like based on reality whatsoever. But at the same time, I do agree with obviously this sentiment if you want to take it at the most basic level. They probably have some correct points, but getting a huge group of people together with disparate opinions to get them to express their views coherently and in a way that is not off-putting to absolutely everyone who's listening to it is virtually impossible. So, I'm sure there's somewhere in there are logical, normal people who are complaining about serious things, but as a group, there are a bunch of fucking psychopaths, and they're not helping themselves at all.
Well, and this is also true of a lot of like these kind of like these cancer charities where, They say that they're going to fund all this like research into cancers and stuff like that. Like, I think the breast cancer one is notable for this, and I could be mistaken, so don't like treat this as gospel. But the people working there get a lot of money, and they don't actually achieve that much. But it's just this sort of like platitude sort of thing, like let's fight cancer, let's raise money to fight cancer. And it's like this thing, and it's like people will give money to it and not really like follow the money because they just want to give money to an organization to feel good about themselves.
Yeah, a lot of charities are bullshit.
It kind of goes back to at least with like the Black Lives Matter stuff. It kind of goes back to the movie Cuck, where you have a lot of people. You have a lot of people out there, and they might read certain literature or they might watch certain videos, and they watch enough of them, and they're not really quite sure how to navigate it all. So they become where they kind of like amalgamate all these disparate thoughts and ideas that maybe don't co-align, right? And I think that, you know, a lot of people, they might subscribe or think that they subscribe to what Black Lives Matter's messaging is, but not necessarily understand how. And it's not really an organization. And there, to a certain extent, there's some kind of like chapters of it or whatever. But
there's a head branch and there are area branches, but the area branches get no money from the head branch, and they're constantly in fights with them because none of the money that gets donated to Black Lives Matter actually ends up trickling down to the local groups. It all goes into the pockets of the people running the organization.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I think that maybe Black Lives Matter started as something that is, and I actually genuinely do actually believe this, that it started as like a really genuine expression of the problems with the way that police deal with black people in America, and you know, and like every other organization, like you were saying, charities, and what happens is that it becomes political, and that people get certain positions, and there's a lot of infighting, and it becomes this strange.
It becomes corrupt.
Yeah,
it becomes
exactly.
corrupt.
Yeah. Cuck 2019.
Cuck 2019. I just had to cut out that last part. If you can imagine, I just had to cut this is going to be like the Create Unknown, right? So Easy Peasy
they had to
has
cut
been on
out a lot.
They had to cut out like half of his stuff. Yeah.
Oh, really?
You know,
yeah. There was a fucking, I think about 10 minutes of me ranting about how fat Boogie is and how I'm going to kick his ass. I just decided that I really want to talk about that.
Oh, man. I was just on that podcast, actually.
And then at the end of the show, they asked me to do an ad for a fictitious product. And what I came up with on the spot was the Jeffrey Epstein blacklight cum detector. So they couldn't put that on the podcast.
He probably has
either.
that, and he's probably patented.
And then when I was doing my outro for the podcast, I may have threatened to commit a mass shooting, so they had to cut that out too. So a lot.
Easy Peasy is a wild card.
Unhinged
individual.
I ruin every podcast anyone lets me on.
Yeah,
you have really manic energy, I've noticed. Has anybody ever told you that?
I'm a natural born entertainer, okay? That's what I do. You give me a mic, I put on a show, and also threaten to kill people.
That is good, though. Yeah, you clearly are talented at, yeah.
Thank you, baby. Mwah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I just accepted it on my cheek. Thank you. It was a very nice kiss.
Actually, it wasn't a kiss. It was like that scene from Cuck 2019. He just did that on your face.
Who's the cuck now?
Oh. Who's the cuck now? That should have been the tagline for the movie.
Oh my god,
that's literally
amazing.
Who was saying earlier that the screenwriter he got an angry YouTube comment and he decided to write this movie?
I was talking about it when Kino wasn't here. We speculated that perhaps what happened here is that the writer of the screenplay was just sitting on YouTube one day and he wrote a comment, and someone responded and just like, "Shut up, cuck," and just angrily he began writing a response. And then about 3 or 4 hours into it,
a script.
Yeah, 3 or 4 hours into it, he was like, I'm not gonna post this, but I think I could really develop this into a script. I'm just gonna copy and paste this into a Word document, and I think there's something here.
Yeah, and I think too that like I think that the whole script is based around that line of "Who's the cuck now?"
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Like this is how he shows. Yeah. It's like he got called a cuck one time, and this is him being like, it's his ironic take on the whole situation. Yeah. It's his revenge, but it's like he's doing it in an ironic way. I think he thinks it's an ironic way where by the end of it, it's like.
Imagine this, that your revenge is just a shitty movie. Like, I'm gonna get back at this guy by making a shitty movie. That'll show him. And Cuck made $0 at the box office.
Ooh.
So the question is, who is the Cuck now?
Yeah.
I think that guy, what's his name, like Rob Lambert or something like that.
Yeah, I was looking at his Twitter earlier. He has like 1,000 followers. Maybe one of us, if we all follow him right now, maybe he'll follow us, one of us back, and then we could DM him. Who's the Cuck now?
Who's the Cuck now? I should just wait. Yeah, let me. His name is Rob Lambert, I think, right?
Yeah. He so his
he
first
only tweets about Cuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah,
he's doing promotion.
Buddy, the boat has sailed.
Yeah, honestly, it's been years. It's been like 2 years by this point.
It's his masterpiece, and by God, he'll make people watch it.
Oh man, I bet he's like, it was misunderstood. The alt-right, they really.
It was before his time. It was before its time. Okay, he's like Picasso. Years from now, people are going to be like, "This is clearly a masterpiece."
I just followed the Cuck guy. Hopefully,
could you send me a link to his Twitter? I want to follow him too.
Yeah, send it to the Discord.
We're going to be his official fan club. You know, this reminds me, if we're talking about movies, back in the day on Encyclopedia Dramatica, we used to do a movie night. I started it. I found some really bad movies, and I wanted to sit down and watch it with the guys, watch really bad shit. They immediately turned it into a weekly test of endurance, where every week they would join in and watch a 13-hour-long movie marathon of the worst movies they could find on the face of the earth. And they did this for years every week. That was quite amazing. I bitched out of there fast. But one of the movies we ended up finding was a real masterpiece. It is a Gary Busey movie called Quigley. About Gary Busey.
I think I've heard of this.
Yeah, about Gary Busey dying and being reincarnated as a dog. And there's a story about that.
No.
Oh, it's one of those.
Yeah, and there's a story about that movie that on set Gary Busey got into a fight with one of the stage managers because the set for Heaven was wrong, because Gary Busey has been to heaven, and that is not how the couches in heaven look. That's an actual thing he got into a fight with someone over. And
shit! So he was he went to heaven after the motorcycle accident or something, I guess.
Wait,
yeah.
Curtis Armstrong is also in it.
Huh?
Wasn't he Booger in Revenge of the Nerds? Yeah, he was Booger in Revenge of the Nerds.
That's him. That's him. And just as we were watching it, I Googled it and I found a Facebook page for Quigley Part 2, which was just released right as we were watching the movie. I emailed, and I found the email of the guy who made the movie, and I told him I'm a huge fan of Quigley 1. I'm so happy that he made Quigley 2, and he was delighted. And then I asked him if he could get me an autograph from Gary Busey, and he never answered. So.
Oh no.
Yeah.
A shame.
Yeah.
All of us want the Gary Busey autograph. He actually has the same birthday as me. Everyone looks up their what celebrities do you share your birthday with?
No,
when I look up mine, it's June 29th, and it's the celebrity that shares your birthday is Gary Busey. And I'm like, great.
Let's
oh my God! Look, I just noticed something.
Easy
important. Hold on, I noticed something important.
Right.
Go to the Twitter page of Rob Lambert. Look at it for a moment.
Okay.
Tell me if you see something strange.
Oh, okay, hold on. I'm opening it. Okay, hold on.
If you can't find anything, tell me and I'll tell you where to look closer.
Thanks in advance.
Look at his banner. Look at the banner image.
Oh! It's Cuck, the film.
Yeah.
Okay, but look closer. Look at the fucking iconography around.
Wait, okay, so
that's
is that the
8chan symbol? That's the 8chan symbol.
And Q, there's Q on the other side.
There's
of it,
Q on the other side. And there's a red
Yeah.
pill and a small upside down frog.
Frog.
And this is
Oh,
a piece
the
of
Reddit
no.
and that's
Yeah,
a piece of
Reddit symbol.
clip art. That's a well-known piece of clip art he just stole.
Oh
That
my
is one of
gosh,
the
that's
first-
right. That's the frog clip art.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And he has a bad graffiti of the Reddit alien
Oh man.
right above the name of Rob Lambert.
And by the way, he couldn't get like a fucking normal person who does Photoshop to make the cuck look like it's actually photoshopped onto the fake wall. This is clearly superimposed.
Yeah, it's very clear. The
this
coloring
is a free font.
Off. One of the funny things too is that this is assuming that people on 8chan would actually get along with people on Reddit.
Yeah.
like it's like, do you know how like diametrically opposed people on 8chan are from people on Reddit? But that all goes back to how they don't understand any of the shit, anything. You know, the film just doesn't understand internet culture at all. It's trying to make a statement on internet culture, and it really just doesn't get it.
I was just about to say this before you got into this. I think we can all agree that any movie that is based or surrounded or influenced by things that are happening on the internet will always be hilariously cringe. Like, there's never been a movie that focuses on internet stuff that hasn't been weird and... No, except Spree. Except Spree, obviously.
Yeah, Spree got it right because of how it essentially just ended with like him becoming Elliot Rodger and getting like worshipped by beta males online.
Yeah. Everything else is just completely awful. Yeah. This is awful. That movie Cyberbully was awful. That movie, what was it called? Cyber Seduction, that was made by the Lifetime channel about a kid who gets addicted to internet porn. Anything that tries to be...
I remember that.
Yeah, that's a classic. Anything that tries to be about internet things never works. And it especially never works when they try to draw parallels to actual internet individuals and groups, but they can't actually name them, so they have to make these little parodies of them, but it ends up not being insulting or accurate. It just ends up being weird and ridiculous.
I watched this one short film that I actually kind of liked, where it was about an insult, and like pretty much he says he's gonna commit suicide on camera, and like everybody immediately just starts encouraging him to do so.
Yeah, that happens.
Like, but eventually, you know, like by the end, he decides not to. But like, just the whole God, I wish I remembered the name of the short film, but it was good. It was actually legit good.
Look at this. Look at the thing I'm linking here. Click it. Click it.
I dig it. Rob Lambert.
Click it. No, click it.
I clicked
Look
it.
at it.
I know. I clicked it. Where is it? Oh, fuck. Why did it just brought up his
Wait, maybe I...
New edit. Oh, gosh. New edit. Cuck movie plus Patriots. Look at that. What the hell?
What is that font?
Yeah. What the hell is this?
It's fucking Donald Trump. What is it?
Donald Trump pointing to the guy, Ethan Klein. And then who are the people in the back? Are they supposed to be like...
Well, they're the July...
they're the guys
what's
from
it called?
Capitol.
January 6th insurrection thing, right?
No, but this is... No, they're not, because this was made in 2020.
Oh.
In October,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, these are some kind of
then
oath keepers.
he linked he Vice, Project Lincoln, ProPublica. Oh man.
Oh, just a bunch of cringe Vice.
Wow,
and Project
this is
Lincoln.
like a fucking boomer Facebook post.
Yeah.
Like with the fucking...
It explains a lot.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
This person's really out of touch.
Yeah, well, that comes across in the film.
Oh, man.
When someone is out of touch and they're making a movie about, especially like current day stuff, and their online activity is pretty much like just Facebook and Instagram and barely Twitter, that's what, as Easy Peasy was saying, it's when you make stuff about internet culture, it's usually almost always going to be cringe, but then you also mix it with, if you make a movie about like the current politics, also it's going to be cringe, and it's going to age. It's going to get dated super fast, because this movie Cuck, it came out in 2019, and it feels like it should have come out in 2016. It was like the 2016 era kind of anti-SJW politics it was commenting on.
Incredibly
like
dated.
People make fun of these people now.
Yeah.
Like constantly.
Like at one point he starts using the term white knight, And I haven't heard someone unironically use the term white knights since like 2016.
They just say simp now.
Internet lingo changes rapidly. If you make a movie today, by next year, any kind of memes you use are already going to be gone and forgotten. Like, imagine if in the middle of this fucking movie, if instead of walking into the supermarket with the gun, he rode on into it on a unicycle yelling, "Here come that boy."
Can I ask you guys a question? How would you, if you
commit
theoretically...
a school shooting?
No.
Is that where the question is going?
All right, hold your horses. Chill out. Chill out for a second. Okay, listen. How would you theoretically improve this movie if you were told to pen the script?
Okay.
I'll go first because Easy Peasy talks nonstop and so I'll go first on this. What I would do is I would focus his character. I would definitely make his character more. I would actually do research into all these ideologies, and I would pick one essentially and just go with it. And it wouldn't be the case where he already has this ideology at the start of it. It would be the case of he's going deeper and deeper, maybe becoming more and more radicalized, rather than like in this movie, he's basically far right, extreme, whatever they want to portray him as, right from the start. So I would show his descent, into extremism, which it kind of goes into something that I think of a lot, is that people who tend to be isolated and extremely online and don't really hang out with other people and don't discuss their ideas with other people tend to become extremists. Yeah. Because extremism is definitely very, seductive until you actually start talking about it with people. And then people are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I would definitely show it as a sort of like going into extremism and then using that extremism to push the conflict, and I would take out the cuck porn stuff. The cuck porn stuff doesn't have to be there.
It's so useless, yeah.
You can show his impotence if you want to show impotence, although I think it's a really like overused topic. Like they did, it's like, oh, he's impotent and that's why he's doing this. It's like, come on, that's like so overused. It's so cliche at this point. Let's do something different. But yeah, I would really just sort of focus on his own interpersonal relationships. I would hone his character down to be more precise, to be more, and to be more fleshed out, and actually give him some humanity in the film, and give the world around him some humanity. And as the film progresses, maybe the world is actually becoming more humane in a way to him, and he's the one that is sort of detaching himself from reality and becoming more and more hating of the world around him, even if maybe people in his circle are trying to help him. Instead, this movie is just always wants to punish him.
So deeply cynical, yeah. It's
the movie just constantly wants to punish him, and it's like, gosh, like the guy's mentally ill. The guy's obviously not all there, and and everyone in the movie just like hates his guts, and it's just doing awful shit to him. And so he does awful shit back. And everyone in the film is bad. Like, there's no redeeming qualities in, like, any character. And I would, it's like I would make them human. Like, that's also another big thing, is making him human. Maybe, making you understand maybe why he's in this situation. Instead of just being like, yeah, here's his bumper stickers. This is what he believes in. And he's a bad guy and he deserves to get humiliated for the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, easy peasy, go.
Okay, the first thing I would do was probably cut a lot of the fat. I would remove all of the unnecessary scenes and unnecessary plot lines to, first of all, make the movie shorter, and then also leave a little more time for the things that are actually important. I would make the movie into a more traditional plot structure with a more natural progression. I'd like to have the internet career thing be a more central part of the movie instead of the cuck thing. The cuck thing can maybe stay... Like, I'm not rewriting the script right now from scratch, but what I'm saying is the internet thing with his YouTube channel could have been a more central focus of the movie, and that could have been a connecting piece of tissue that you could build an entire plot around. So you could have him be like this sad sack person at the start of the movie, then he makes this YouTube channel, then you see a gradual improvement of his life as a result of his YouTube fame. You get him to a high point, and then you start seeing it falling apart, and then you get to see a gradual falling apart of his life as the YouTube thing fails and as he gets into all kinds of trouble. A more traditional sort of plot progression, because as we have it now, the YouTube thing is one of like 10 different plot lines going on simultaneously that just take up too much space. Everything irrelevant needs to go. Then what I would also do is severely try to change the tone of the movie. I would change the lighting a little bit. Everything is way too bright. The movie is constantly changing filters for no reason. Like, one moment everything is looking blue, one moment everything is looking yellow. I don't know why they did that. I would change the sound editing because the devil's in the details, is what I'm trying to say here. If I would get rid of all of the music and in all of the quiet moments, I just have ambient noise in the background, then when he's just standing around and just having a bad moment, it would create tension in a natural way instead of trying to artificially create it with a bunch of loud music going on in the background. It would create a completely different tone for the movie. Then if you cut all of this out and you create a normal plot progression, you can turn this into an actual character study of this character, and you can have him gradually go from bad to good to great to bad again. And you can connect that into an actual point you're trying to make. So in this theoretical scenario, the point I would be trying to make is, let's go with something that the person who made this movie believes in about, let's say, the alt-right pipeline. Let's say we would create a movie about a theoretical guy getting sucked into internet fame, into internet extremism, and then all of that falling apart. And then at the end of the movie, he can either die after being like this sad sack and can be a tragic character, or he can get out of this cycle of anger and self-destruction and maybe find friends and family and start improving his life again in a more positive way. This needs to be a more traditional movie. And to do that, it needs to get rid of everything that's not necessary and completely change the tone from mocking to sympathetic, is what I think needs to happen here.
Yeah, that's one of the best points that you made early on, is like, this movie completely lacks empathy. And then, you also think about the fact that this is like a mentally slow character.
Possibly, it's not completely sure. He may be mentally ill, or he might be mentally slow. It's not. The movie doesn't make it clear.
Yeah, okay. But like, even still, like, how much more compelling would this be if this is actually a sympathetic person, who's slow and gets into this like awful way of thinking about life, and then
because a lot of
some
people,
sort of redemption, or not even doesn't even have to have the redemption. Maybe it could be tragic, but at least empathize with the person if you're gonna do either one.
Because realistically, a lot of incels are just autistic. Like, I know these people. A lot of internet extremists are mentally ill or autistic. They're lonely. They get into these ideologies because they sit in the room all day and go stir crazy. You could make this into a really sympathetic character instead of a bizarre collection of weird caricatures.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Oki, your own question to yourself. How would you improve this movie?
Well, no, I agree with both of you. Like, especially one of the things that I latched on to what you said very early on. I don't know if, excuse me, sorry. I'm burping. Sorry, excuse me. Anyway, so the thing that I latched on to very early on that you said was that this movie completely lacks any empathy for the character. And there's no... and also, I want to add on to that, where there's no characters that you can latch any sympathy or care onto as well. And I felt that maybe, because that's kind of why I liked maybe what you said was the first half. To me, it felt like 30 minutes, but you're adamant that it's the first half, so I'll agree with you.
It's not clear. We have a difference of opinions of where the plot starts. It's fine.
Yeah. So I was okay with following this clearly disturbed person with their mundane life, but it became very clear, at least by the time that the cuck porn arc or whatever you want to call it started, that it was just meant to be this like ugly, humiliating diatribe. I guess that's the way that the script was written. I would get rid of all of that. I would.
The opposite of what I would do. Yeah, that could work too.
I would introduce like instead maybe. I think Kino was saying that it would be better if there's like a dissent. And you were saying that as well. So like if maybe I would introduce, what I would do is I would introduce like a girlfriend maybe who's equally as slow, or a friend, and I would try and have it so that person sees that this person's going through a descent, and it affects, there's some sort of emotional arc there where like it affects the main character's life and the friend's life, perhaps.
Because like how it is right now is that pretty much every character in the film is static. The only thing that changes are the circumstances. Yeah. So him doing cuck porn doesn't actually change his character at all. Like he doesn't change at all from everything that happens doesn't change him in any way. He's still the same guy. I mean, it's just like, and then at the end he just decides he's had enough and he's been humiliated enough and he's just going to go on the shooting spree. But there was no, like, it felt like it was just a switch in his head that basically did it. There's no, it's like, okay, yeah, you could see that he was going to go on a shooting spree essentially from the first frame of the movie.
Yeah, but he's not any more crazy at the end of the movie than he was at the start. He is not in any more of a bad situation at the end of the movie than was at the start. Like, marginally, he got humiliated on the internet, and the woman who he thought loved him didn't love him, but she was clearly taking advantage of him. So for the audience who knows from the start that she's taking advantage of him, it's not even sad when he gets screwed over, because he clearly is going to get screwed over from the start. It's not shocking at all.
Yeah, the more we talk about this, the more mean-spirited this movie just seems.
Yeah.
Where it's just like this. It's useless, really.
Thinly veiled. It's thinly veiled
shallow
attack.
And useless, yeah.
This is made by someone who clearly doesn't like the people he's making a movie about. He's trying to cram it into a sort of actual movie, but he's too busy making fun of them to leave any room for an actual movie to fit in there with the rest of what he put there. And there's this sad attempt near the end to create sympathy for the character, which the person making this movie clearly doesn't have, and it also just falls completely flat.
Yeah, and and there's something to say, like, if you watch Taxi Driver, it's obvious that Scorsese has a lot of sympathy for Bickle. If you watch a lot of these...
Oh, man. Paul Schrader wrote that movie because he kind of lived a similar lifestyle at the time.
Yeah.
That's what he said that.
Yeah, exactly. And, you have these different movies that follow these kind of loners, but the reason that they work is that they do have a sense of humanity about them, that they're not like these just monsters that are just supposed to be put on a stage and mocked. And because that's not appealing. That's not, it doesn't grab your attention. It doesn't stay in your mind. Like, it's not like, we want to see people, we want to see like real problems. And it's like, what we're given is just a straw man, a scarecrow to just hurl insults at for 2 hours. And that's pretty much what his character is, and it's just not that interesting. I mean, the movie is funny in the sense of how out of touch it is. We're not. The thing is that when you watch Cuck, you're not laughing at the characters. You're not laughing like with the director. You're laughing at him, because you're like, how could you even think that this was good? How could you think that this was okay? Because it's not. It lacks sympathy. It lacks empathy. Yeah. In fact, the director comes off as more delusional than the main actor.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, and it's just, And okay, I wanted to say this. His freakouts were definitely inspired by the YouTube video, The Greatest Freakout. I was half expecting him to shove a remote up his ass. Like, during any one of his freakouts in the movie, I was like, come on, he has to shove the remote up his ass at some point. And he didn't. I was disappointed. 0 out of 10.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
his
he did
freakouts
grab
are
that
really
remote
funny.
from his mom for a moment. I was like, shove it up your ass. Come on, buddy, just do it.
Just do it. Like, that's what the audience wants. Yeah. It's like, we already aren't taking the movie seriously. We already know that, you're just taking shit from the internet from years ago, that's like already old at this point. So just do it. Just like give us what we want at this point. But yeah, it was a movie that came out in 2019 that felt like a bad movie that came out in 2016. So it was dated on its release date. It was dated by 3 years on its release date. And that's just something. It's like, that's why, like, when I write, I don't get political at all, because it's like, especially, with the internet and with politics, it's changing so rapidly.
I disagree with you fundamentally, actually. I think that there could be a really good movie written about someone who becomes an extremist through
saying
literature
could,
and the
no, I'm
that
saying that
online.
it could happen. Like, I'm not saying that that's impossible, but what I'm saying is that a pitfall that you can get into when making political movies is that you are too focused on not necessarily the essence.
You have too much skin in the game.
Yeah. Well, for one, you're extremely partisan, and you're not able to kind of look at things as holistically, right? And also, too, it's like you're so caught up in maybe the politics of the exact moment in time that and movies take years to make, and so you have to be able to sort of look forward, and or you have to either be able to look forward, or you have to find a more kind of universal humanist.
You have to make a movie about trends, not about specific events happening right now.
Have you guys seen the movie Four Lions, which is about literally terrorists who plot and execute?
Lions.
Try to execute. Yeah, they try to execute a bombing.
I've heard of it.
It's a comedy.
Never got around to it.
Oh, it's great. It's great, and like you actually care about the characters in it. And what they're doing and all of it. It's meant to be reprehensible, but it's presented in such a way that you can actually empathize with them.
Yeah,
which this movie just isn't.
But the question is, in regards to what Kino was saying, is the movie dated now?
Four Lions isn't.
No?
Well, I mean, this movie is, but no, Four Lions is Four Lions is great. Like, it's a.
Well, that's the thing.
I highly recommend Four Lions.
If your movie focuses on good characters, and I would say that that's almost more important than like a good story, are like great characters, right? Because if you focus on making really great characters, making really sort of just, you can think that you can find the person reprehensible, but you can also be enamored with them. You can also like watching them on screen, even if you might disagree with them on just about everything that they stand against. But that's the thing with political movies. You have to be able to look past just the theater, the political theater of whatever day you're writing it on. You have to be able to look past it and see people as being people, and not as being just straw men, or just not as just being an anime profile picture online. Exactly. You have to be able to look deeper, and you have to dig into it a bit, and you have to try to find the humanity in everybody. Because if you don't, it comes across as extremely partisan, and it'll probably be a super shallow movie with really nothing to say other than some vague talking points that's going to be dated by the time your movie comes out. Because I guarantee you this movie was probably written in 2015 or 2016, but movies take years to make, and so it came out in 2019. And and by the time it came out, it was already dated, because it was dated by the time the script was probably finished.
I was telling Easy Peasy about a friend of mine that I had, Bosnian refugee guy, and actually I had to stop talking to him because he was so he was obsessed with, Jewish conspiracies, and he was obsessed with,
I had the Mossad kill him because he was getting too close to the truth. Sorry.
This is true. Me and you coordinated that. That's this definitely happened.
Yep.
But yeah, no. Anyway, yeah. So like, I would so as someone who's like known someone like this, who I only knew because I knew him in high school, and then I started playing World of Warcraft Classic with him. As someone who knew someone like this, like, I would definitely love to see a movie that shows someone who gets radicalized
World of Warcraft Classic.
And gets radicalized because of the whole narrative about the orcs and the alliance. Yeah. Definitely. No. I would love to see someone who gets radicalized because of like online politics and in a movie, and someone actually take empathetic stance towards a story like that. But this completely it fails.
It fails
completely.
because it hates its main character. If you're going to make a good movie about this, the most important thing is that, like, a film like Cuck, just like a film like Taxi Driver, right? The core essence of it isn't the politics, isn't any of this. The core essence of it is loneliness and alienation, and and the kind of a growing loneliness. And like, I think that if you were to cover somebody getting radicalized online to more extremist positions, and a lot of people like to talk about on the right, but there's also plenty of like these tankies and stuff, and it's like, come on, like, leave your bedroom.
Go touch grass.
You know what I mean? Like, just go outside. I mean, I know the meme is touch grass, but don't touch grass. Go out to a cafe and talk to normal people. Just people who aren't, if you start going there and expressing any of these extremist opinions in public, people are probably going to shun you, or be just like, as I said earlier, like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, that's insane. But the thing is that the more isolated you become, I think also that there's a mix, and it would be really interesting to actually have a movie that explores how people become radicalized online, and a mix of loneliness, possibly depression, especially with, the last year. I mean, their depression rates have been up, skyrocketing. Maybe a bit of mental illness and things like that. Like, but you just have to, understand. You have to be understanding. And I think that that's just important as a filmmaker, is that with all of your characters, you have to be able to just be extremely understanding and empathetic towards them, no matter if they're the hero or the villain. And the best movies are made that way. That it seems like the filmmaker, the director, likes all of his characters, even if his characters are sometimes not super great. I mean, I think that's true for Scorsese. It is definitely true for someone like Jean Renoir. Like, there's
it's even true for like a movie like Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Yeah,
like, it's even true about that. Where
it's even true about that. Yeah, exactly.
They're trying to push where I think about like the Elijah Wood movie Maniac. Like, the characters are meant to, like, you still have to follow their journey and understand them. And empathy doesn't mean that you have to like them. It just means that you have to understand them.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think bars Cuck from being a good film. Now, do I think that Cuck in any of its iterations would be a great film? I don't think so. I think it could be a good movie, though, but I think you would have to change so much of it that it would be indistinguishable from this to be a great film. Yeah.
I genuinely I'm gonna disagree, because I think, like, it, at least, so not the first hour, but like just like the way it's set up in the beginning, I was ready to be like, okay, am I gonna have the contrarian take on this movie? Am I gonna actually like this? So I do think that it did have like a setup that wasn't terrible, and it could have been.
No, the setup wasn't necessarily that bad. What I'm saying is that
it could have been great. I think
second and third acts you would have to completely essentially wipe away and redo.
Yeah, those are,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe like. But if you want to watch a movie that's great and that's maybe like Cuck, just go watch Taxi Driver.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, just watch Taxi Driver instead. It does everything that Cuck does, but so much better. And that's all I can. I mean, that's all I can really say. Like, yeah, directors just have to be understanding. They don't have to. They don't have to agree with it. And sometimes, I write a lot, and something that I can just say from a writing perspective is that every character in a movie, whether they're the villain or the hero or whatever, I don't really write, stuff to be like very discrete villains and heroes, but everyone there, no matter who they are, there is a bit of me in them, I think that
that's literally me.
It's literally me. Yeah. But there's a bit of me in everyone. And cause sometimes it's like maybe the villain or the antagonist is an expression of some darker thoughts inside myself, or is me sort of wrestling with certain ideas, and when I write, I never think of like, man, I really hate this character. I always, in fact, the characters that are maybe morally bad, I'm usually, I like better than the quote unquote good characters, because it's more interesting when I write for them, and I can deal with some darker things rather than writing a guy who's maybe more of a straight man. I can use this character to sort of explore ideas and subjects and themes that are hard to explore in any other way. But to do that, you have to like them. You have to like them in some capacity. You have to empathize with them and understand where they're coming from. And also, if you understand your characters, then your character development is just gonna happen. If you understand them, then you don't even have to think about the development. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be there. Because you can look at the this chain of events that happens, and and then everything will just fall into place logically.
Yeah. All right. Here's what I'm gonna say. I give Cuck 9 out of 10 schmoes. One of the greatest movies of all time.
Oh yeah. Yes. Exactly.
What about you guys?
I give it 2 thumbs up directly into my own eye sockets.
Beautiful.
I give it a broken wine glass up my ass.
Easy peasy. I'm really curious, actually. Can you just tell people what? Because I feel like you're a little bit older than me, maybe, and you've been on the internet for a long time. What's been your journey on the internet?
I'm sorry, you cut out for a second. What's
been your journey on the internet? What's it been like? How did it start?
Oh, you don't want to get him into the all the stories about Encyclopedia Dramatica.
I do.
That'll be a 10-hour-long podcast.
It doesn't have to be 10 hours. If you could surmise it, I just want to understand.
There's really nothing to surmise. I started using the internet when I was in 4th grade. I just had a really poor sense of humor, and eventually I stumbled my way into some website with other people with a really poor taste of humor, and I just stay there. That's really all that is.
Mm-hmm. Were you were you a something awful person? Were you on that?
No, because I refused to pay the foot fetishist money.
Oh, okay. All right. So I thought you were old enough where, for some reason, I think you're 40 in my mind.
I am not 40, but okay.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Sorry. I just in my mind I assumed that.
I don't want to give away your age, but easy peasy. Are you older than 30 or younger than 30?
I'm about 30. I'm in that ballpark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
So you're
not giving away specific details. I'm in that ballpark.
Okay, so you're the same age as Oki then.
Yeah, I'm 29.
Yeah, I did not use something awful, and I will never use it under any circumstances, especially now. No interest. I will not pay $10 to post on a fucking web forum. There is no reality where that is acceptable. I'm not going to pay.
Yeah, that was the 4chan passes. Remember those?
Yeah. I'm not paying for low taxes fucking fursuits. You can get a fucking job. Well, actually, he recently, a year ago, sold something awful. He's done with it. His wife divorced him and sued him. It's a whole thing. He went completely off the rails.
Oh, she was crazy, right? Though.
Yeah, she was crazy, but also he's pretty crazy. Like there's no hero in the story. They're both kind of awful.
They're both something awful.
Well, yeah. Also, I never got the something awful humor. Like I appreciate the high effort posting, but most of the things that came out of something awful were kind of not really funny to me. Don't know why, just not my type of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think my introduction to the internet was like, apart
was
from just all
Newgrounds.
those like,
Yeah, Sam, I was about to say.
yeah,
Mine was Newgrounds
yeah.
in a game called Grawl Online.
Yeah,
And then
Mine was-
eventually World of Warcraft and StarCraft.
yeah, I liked playing all those Flash games, as a kid on Newgrounds, and I think it was like White Sheep, Black Sheep, or something in Miniclip.
You mentioned White Sheep, Black Sheep in another podcast, and I legitimately don't know what the hell that is. I went looking for it, and I can't even find information about it.
I remember it being a sort of a Newgrounds clone. Yeah, what podcast was that? I did mention it.
It was in the Kinokast in a previous episode.
Maybe it's called Black
The
Sheep,
best
White Sheep.
podcast ever made, by the way.
If you find it, send me a link because I'm legitimately curious about what the hell that is. If you find any information about it.
Yeah, it was a Flash site. It was like one of those albino black sheep. That's what it was.
Oh.
Bino Black.
I think I know that.
The
was
name's
called
familiar.
Yeah, I mean it's essentially a Newgrounds clone. But yeah, it was. Yeah, my parents wouldn't let me use it after they saw me playing a game called Spank the Monkey.
I remember Spank the Monkey. It
Which,
was on
by the
Newgrounds
way,
too.
Is a movie with Ben Stiller.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh yeah, I've seen it as well. It's
Yeah.
it's an Oedipal complex movie.
Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
yeah, from the mid '90s.
Yeah. What's his name? David O. Russell directed it.
Yeah, it was David O. Russell. I remember because he also made he made a bunch of those like comedies back in the '90s, like one with Josh Brolin in it, where Josh Brolin was like the gay guy that was like, I don't do sodomy, I just suck dick.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like it's like one of those like romantic sort of screwball comedy type films. Let me look it up really fast because it'll only take me a second. to find
Give me
it.
1 second.
But-
I'm gonna be right back.
Yes. Let me see. Director David O. Russell, which I hear. Oh yeah, it's called Flirting with Disaster. Which I hear David O. Russell is just like has like the worst anger management.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just like an absolute pain in the ass to work for on set. That's what I hear. He has like just these immense temper tantrums.
Oh, yeah, he called Danny DeVito's wife the C word.
Yeah.
Which C word?
Well, my aunt is literally in the next room. So.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
I won't do the bit again.
Yeah, I already time-stamped it in our thing so that I know like what part to cut out. And it's funny. It turned into like I'm gonna cut out this one thing to like I'm just gonna cut out like a block of like 30 minutes. Like,
Yeah, pretty
fuck
much
even having
the whole conversation.
that whole conversation is gonna be lost to time. It's gonna be on one of those lost media icebergs at the very bottom.
I still have the recording of myself yelling about Boogie somewhere on my computer. Like I recorded it on my end just in case, and I still have it somewhere. My 5-minute rant about how Boogie is fat.
I genuinely don't understand why. I mean, you do tweet sometimes about that.
No, I have
don't-
nothing against him. I just think it's
No,
funny to make
no.
fun of him.
I mean, you want to cut that part out, but like you were saying like you want to cut out because you don't want to be political, but like you tweet about it sometimes. So I mean, what's the
Yeah,
problem?
but I tweet about it for fun. Like I will tweet something, some opinion, then I'll tweet the exact opposite opinion. I don't tweet it because that's what I believe. I tweet because it's interesting or funny. Like I will tweet a lot of things that I think are completely wrong and stupid, but they're said in an interesting or funny way. It's completely irrelevant whether I think it's true or not.
Yeah, I think that it's best for mental health to not take Twitter seriously at all. Like to just look at it as a place to shitpost.
Like if you look at my feed, you would come to the conclusion that I am a Nazi ultra Zionist. Like I just retweet garbage. I'm a right wing communist. Like, just complete nonsense. Whatever I find, I just retweet it. I like blindly smash the retweet button.
Yeah, I know, because you retweet half of you retweet all my my most terrible tweets too. It's like, oh, the odd guy retweeted. I'm like, gosh, that tweet must have sucked then.
I am a connoisseur of quality tweeting. Okay, if I retweet it, then it is complete garbage, but I like it.
But anyways, let's start wrapping this up. We already gave Cuck our views. And
we gave our seal of endorsement.
Yeah, our seal of endorsement.
It is literally the best movie I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and I will. The movie, to me, it felt like I was actually the man in the one man, one jar. So I think that's a fitting review. That Cuck was the jar going up into my asshole, and then halfway through, it broke.
It broke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a good metaphor.
Terrible imagery, but yeah.
But accurate.
Yeah, but accurate, I would say. So easy peasy. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
If we want to, if I feel like I want to have another podcast where I have to highly edit it, I will call you in the future.
Okay.
Actually, I did like. I like you as a guest. Actually, you're very.
Can I shut off the recording now?
No,
Yeah.
we're not done yet. Are we done yet?
Oh,
I thought we were done.
I think that was it.
Oh, okay.
You know what?
Okay.
I'm going to keep all this in, this confusion.
That was a hell of a conclusion. All right. Well, that was the Kinokast number 5 with Easy Peasy. Yes.
See ya.
Bye.
Can I turn it off now?
Yeah, you can shut it off now.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that you